This is the second episode in my series on the lessons to be learned from the Kipchoge sub 2-hour marathon run. In the first episode of this series, I dealt with the matter of naysayers, those of us who use our own limitations as the measure of all limitations. And in this episode, I take lessons from Kipchoge's feet to talk about competition and how to know you are still playing small or even playing in the wrong league. In life, you will always see people win competitions with each other. Our measure of how well we are doing is in comparison with how badly our peers are doing. It struck me that one of the reasons why the Kipchoge's feat will not be recognized as a world record is simply this. He did not have competitors. His feat was simply so big that he was not competing against anyone. He was in a class all his own, stretching his own abilities to achieve what others cannot even dream of. His feat was beyond the ordinary and rather limited dreams of beating his colleagues and being better than them. This is what happens when your goals are too big. You are not competing against anyone. This tells you that when you find yourself in competition with your peers, it is because your dreams are too small, too ordinary. Welcome. This is Matters Arising. One of the things that exasperates one about social media posts is just how much they are other people oriented. By just reading the posts, one gets the idea that we spend most of our time wondering what other people are thinking, what they are saying about us, how much they have wronged us, what they are doing or not doing, how well they are doing compared to us, how they have failed, how they are showing off, and so on and so forth. This tells you how low and ordinary most of our goals are if our competition is our peers or people in general. Kipchoge was in this race with world-class athletes, long-distance runners, and global marathoners. And guess what? None of them was his competitor. His goal was so lofty, so inward driven, and so unmatched in its daring that nobody was his competition. Instead, world-class athletes were just glad to be involved in helping him achieve his goal. We are socialized to measure our progress against the progress of others. Our warped school system does not help much either. We learn in school about ranking, that our own progress is to be measured in relation to others. While in some cases, and in most cases, there would be goals that are outside this purview of competition, it is hammered in us from very early in our lives that we measure our progress by checking how well or how badly our peers are doing compared to us. This is a very messed up way of measuring personal growth, and sadly, most of us do not outgrow it. We spend the rest of our lives defining our success by how well we are doing compared to our peers. We are therefore stuck in mediocre lives. I'm always tickled when people talk about peer pressure in relation to teenagers and the youth. If you are keen enough, you will notice that the lives of adults are driven by peer pressure, probably even more than that of teenagers. You only need to listen to workplace gossip and church banter and chamamushine and bar talk. Unfortunately, if you are stuck in this rat race and your peers are the measure of your progress, and worse still, your competition, this is an indicator of how low and mediocre your goals and achievements are. You will remember in the first episode of this series, I said that your own limitations are not the measure of all limitations. When you use your peers as the measure of your own success, you are in a much more awkward position. And this is why. It is because by using the same logic, you are using your peers' limitations as the measure of your own success. I will say that again. I have advised before that you should not use your own limitations as the measure of all limitations. Therefore, when you use your peers as the measure of your own success, you are in effect using your peers' limitations as the measure of your success. It doesn't matter how well or badly you think you are doing if your peers are your measure. You are simply using the wrong measure, and there is no way you can ever arrive at the right conclusion. This is tragedy if ever anyone's life was tragedy. The only thing you can ever prove by using your peers as the measure is that your goals are too small. Like I have said, we all start that way. We are taught to measure our success by comparing ourselves to others. I am sure there was a time when Kipchoge's desire was to look like so-and-so and then to beat so-and-so. As you grow up, this is one of the social constructs that you must seek to deconstruct, at least in your own life. As you grow older and move up the ladder, you must learn very early on that if your peers are your measure of success, your dreams, goals, and achievements are too small. You must intentionally set your goals and plans higher and devise measures of success that are about you, your abilities, skills, and possibilities, and what you are trying to do, rather than about your peers and where they are compared to you. And that is what Kipchoge has grown to. He is able to set goals that have nothing to do with his peers. Young people will always tell me that they want to go up the ladder in whatever they are doing, that they want to grow and they want to be the best. And I think that this is a reasonable wish. But when I ask them, what is the hardest thing about climbing the ladder? They will have all sorts of reasons, and I have had pretty weird ones in my lifetime, including the materials that have constructed the ladder and the angle at which the ladder is leaning, and so on and so forth. But I often remind young people that the greatest challenge in going up the ladder of life is getting past the crowd at the bottom of the ladder. When you feel in your life that you are still in the crowd and that your most immediate concern is competing with your peers, you are still at the bottom of the ladder, hardly started climbing. When you get past the crowd at the bottom of the ladder and start climbing, you will see that your so-called competition gets less and less. And the higher you go, you will find that your competition is less and less about your peers. Not necessarily because the people get you on fewer, which they actually do, but because your own goals and vision gets bigger and bigger. This is where athletes like Kipchoge start pursuing history, inspiration, breaking boundaries, records, breaking barriers, and pursuing ideals that have absolutely nothing to do with competition with anyone else. If I may give you a visual, this is the start of a typical marathon. As you can see, they are all in competition with each other to see who will be number one. And Kipchoge has been in numerous of these marathons, actually including this one, which is the 2015 London Marathon. He soon found out that there was no competition there. His abilities and vision could not be satisfied by simply competing with all these people. He needed a bigger vision. Now, this is the start of the 159 Ineos Challenge. Kipchoge simply had no competition. He had become truly peerless. He was running with people who are in it just to help him achieve his goals. All other marathoners were simply watching him like everybody else. Your goal in life should be to get to where Kipchoge is. That is, to become peerless. To set goals and achieve success that makes history, inspires others, and stretches boundaries. If you are still in the crowd and your peers are your greatest competition, my friend, your successes are too small because they are defined by the limitations of your peers. In the first episode on lessons from the Kipchoge Challenge, I reminded you that your limitations are not the measure of all limitations. And in this second episode, I would like you to take the lesson that if your peers are the measure of your goals and success, then your goals and success are too small because they are defined by the limitations of your peers. The Kipchoge Challenge teaches us that real success is peerless. You start to achieve real success when your goals are about inspiration, history, and pushing boundaries, not just defeating and being better than your peers. Join me in the next third episode where I draw for you another lesson from the Kipchoge Challenge on how to know that you are in the wrong race in your own life. For Matters Arising,